Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. In this video, we will learn how to convert our code flow into hot flow and why this conversion is often needed in real Android apps. So let's get started. So let's go through the initial code you can find from the video description below. So in this initial code we have post repository where we have this get post method which return a flow and provide the list of post models. And in this method we have print this log that when this flow is start producing data, then we print in the logs that producer started, and in here we emit some dummy posts. This is the static list of posts which we have in our project, and after that we are running a loop which will always be true, and in that we have added a delay, and in that we are assuming that to understand some cases or some things about the flow conversion, I have added this while loop, and at the comment that we are assuming that we are getting some data from a socket, and let's say after every 5 seconds or after some times, and when the data receives, then we process some information, do some calculation on that data, and then emit that data in the flow. And in the end here we have the on completion method where we are printing that the producer stopped. So and on the screen side here we have the post list screen, and with that we also have the post list view model where we will get the use the instance of this post repository. So first I will use the manual way of getting data from a flow which I mostly use in the past. So let's say in the init block I will call the repository dot get post method and use the collect function on that. So here we have the post information, and I want to hold that information in a variable at the view model level. So for that purpose here I will create a private vol post state plus tab, and we have this mutable version of this post list, and I will press Ctrl D and expose the immutable version of this one by making it public and make it StateFlow. So this will be the immutable version, and assign this post state to this one and use as StateFlow. Okay, actually I have used the equal sign here, that's why I'm getting this error. So I can directly assign this one to this variable, so this will perform some casting. And now I will update this post state dot value is equal to post. So as this collect function is a suspend function, so I need to wrap this in a view model scope dot launch in a coroutine scope. So I will move this in here. Now in this way I will be able to get data from the this flow, and you hold that information in the view model. But the issue with this approach is that sometimes so when this collector will start, then this flow, then the producer of this flow will not stop, which means that this will always being executed even though we do not need it. Let's say if user minimize the app or switch to some other app, then in that case we don't want to hold that information. Let's say if we don't want to hold that we don't want to let the producer running in the background, then in that case we cannot control it, or maybe we need to write some more manual implementation to achieve that purpose. But with the flow conversion method, if we convert this code flow into hot flow, then we can achieve that thing. So to achieve that, I will comment this code for a time, and comment this and as well, and in here I will use the repository dot get post dot stateIn operator, and this will convert this post list this call flow into host flow, I will press tab here and get these parameter values here. So here we are providing the scope, and in here we are providing the sharing strategy, and most of the time we use while subscribed, and in that we provide 5000 millisecond. I will come back to this point later on in this video. And so as state flows should have the initial value, so here we are providing the empty list. So now at this point, while subscribe mean that whenever any subscriber appear, then this get post method will be called, and the flow will be converted. Then the call flow will be converted into the host flow, which is a state flow, and will be assigned to this variable. So on our UI side here, we will collect this one, collect this post state, and run the app and verify this information through the logs. Okay, so our app is up and running, and in the log we are seeing that the producer have been started. And so now to understand that what is meant by this sharing stated, which means that when the first subscriber appear, then the call flow will be converted into the host flow, and when the last subscriber disappear, then after 5 seconds that value will be removed from the memory. Let's say I will minimize the app here and come back again in the app. Then in that case the producer is not stopped. But if I minimize the app and get away from the app for the longer period of time, let's say more than 5 seconds, then in that case this producer will be stopped, which means that so this flow is no longer producing anything, and the flow information is not is removed from the memory to save the resources. So if I come back in the app again, then here I am observing that the producer is again started. So the purpose of this while subscribed is that we need to hold some information through the life cycle, through the different life cycles of Android components. Let's say if I do the rotation, then in that case I don't want to load the data from the API again. So in that case, because this rotation, during this rotation process, the UI will be destroyed, and in the landscape mode the UI will be again recreated. So which means that this post.collect as state with lifecycle will be called again. But as we have used this while subscribed with 5000 millisecond, so this information will be retained in memory for the 5 seconds. If the rotation is completed within the 5 seconds, this is mostly the case, then in that case the information will be retained, and another and the duplicate API call won't be happen, because we aware that okay, so that's the case. And in the sharing strategy we also have some other strategies. Let's say those eagerly. So eagerly is a sharing strategy which will immediately start sharing, which means that even there is no collector, this will be start collecting in advance. Let's say in our post listing scheme, if I will remove this from here and run the app, clear these logs. So at this time no one is we are not collecting this flow from the UI side. We are not collecting this flow from the state flow from the UI side, but we are still seeing that the producer have been started, and this won't be stopped at any time. Let's say this will run. This will start immediately and never stop, which means that if we minimize the app and stay away from the app from longer period of time, then this will still be exist in the memory. The most common use of this eagerly is that we mostly use for app configuration. Let's say we want to let's say whenever user open the app, then there might be some kind of configuration we want to load and use that on the different parts of the app. So we want to immediately have that information when the app started. So in that case, we use eagerly, or we can use it for some Bluetooth devices. Let's say we have working in a medical with a medical device which is connect with the phone through the Bluetooth. So let's say if the Bluetooth connection will take around 3 to 4 seconds to establish a connection with the phone, then take the phone for 3 to 4 seconds to establish a connection with the device. Then we do not want to do it every time whenever the user land on the screen or switch between apps. If the user land on a specific screen where that connection is needed, then we will hold that connection if all the time unless user come back from to the previous screen where that connection is not needed. And the other one is the lazily. So with this check, the sharing is started when the first subscriber appear, and will never stop. So this will be the same behavior which we have with the while subscribe. The only difference is this will always remain in memory even there is no subscriber. And the one thing which I have missed is in the hot flow there are two major implementations, SharedFlow and StateFlow. We have covered the StateFlow, but if I want to convert this into the SharedFlow, then for that we have the shareIn operator here, provide the scope, view model scope, and provide the replay hash 1, and also convert this into the SharedFlow. And the same thing we also have in this one, the started parameter sharing started dot while subscribe 5000 seconds. So in this way we are converting this cold flow into the hot flow with the implementation of the how I would say shared flow. So there is some difference between the shared flow working. There is some difference in the working of the shared flow and the state flow, so which we have already covered in the previous video. But if you want to learn it, then I will add that video link in the description below. So let's have a recap of what we have covered in this video. We have learned how to convert a cold flow into hot flow and why this conversion is often needed in real Android apps. So with this we have come to the end of this video. I hope you find it valuable. If you have any query, let me know in comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.